Hey everybody, Aaron here. This is my 41st review on this channel, and that is of D-Frag. D-Frag is literally spelled, by the way, D-Frag, like F-R-A-G. It's a unlike most of my reviews lately that have been horrific anime stuff like that. I figured I'd go for a more kind of funny and comedy humor type review, and that's where D-Frag comes in. So our main character is this kind of typical high schooler who's kind of a punk. He doesn't get into fights with everyone per se, but he's tough and he's trying to act cool and stuff. And then one day he ends up running into a club. It's a club of very odd women who claim that all they want to do is play video games and play games like board games and stuff like that. And he doesn't want to join that club. For some reason, he ends up getting shoved into a bag and having to join the club by force. So D-Frag's kind of humor is just random things happen to this main character, in that he ends up joining this club again that they play games, board games and stuff. They're called the Game Club 2 because there's already a game club, and they stole their name and they figured, why don't we just make a 2 at the end of it to make it better. And all the characters here are very odd cast of characters. I mean, they're very typical in terms of, like, you have the tsundere character, you have the girl who, secretly is a tomboy kind of character, one that likes to be kind of tortured by the one girl he likes in class, etc., etc. It's very generic in that sense, but D-Frag's greatest strength is kind of just overzealous amount of random acts. I mean, there are episodes that you just don't make sense, that I can't even say to explain. And I think that's what works for the show, is that it does have an overarching story, and it does kind of end on just an end note. I don't know if the second season is even being developed or not, because I don't know how D-Frag did popularity-wise. I mean, I talked to a few people that watched it, and most people otherwise have never heard of it. And that's a shame, because D-Frag is a fun show. It's not anything revolutionary in terms of comedy anime. I think this has been a lot better. But, its quirkiness, its characters are all fun. And it's, one of those shows that once 12 episodes is up, but you kind of miss it, you don't watch any more of it, you don't rebuy it to watch it again. But it lives up to its current, viewability. You watch it and you enjoy it. It's like anything else, I'm noticing the trend with, and not to get into a rant, I don't want to do that with the review, but I noticed a trend of a lot of anime recently being like 12 episodes long, and it's just over before you know it. And after you're done with it, very, very rarely do you go, oh, that's pretty cool, let me dwell on that or think about that. Is that always a bad thing? Yes, no, that's kind of personal preference. I don't like anime like that, but I've still watched a ton of anime like that, mind you. So, with that being said, again, D-Frag has a good story. It's kind of just quirky. The characters are very quirky but lovable. I actually think not a single character here was not fun in their own right. The animation's very generic based in terms of, like, the way the characters look, but it's very colorful, and it hits a lot of high notes with people who like different types of video games and board games, especially because, I mean, they make fun of Monopoly, they make fun of, like, Dungeons and Dragons, etc., etc., and it's kind of fun to watch that. And they also make fun of, like, those board games that have overly too complicated rules and such. It's fun. I keep saying the word fun because it's one of those shows that it really is. The fun embodies the whole show. So if I had to review D-Frag A through F, I kind of give it a B-. I wanted to give it a B, but I think B- because it's not a great show. It's a fun show to watch. Again, that word fun. I wish to God I was better at editing so I could put up like a fun counter at the bottom of how many times in this video I've said that word. I'm not even gonna say it anymore. I don't want to. But it's a show that once it's over, it's done. You won't ever watch it again. But in the process of watching it, I laughed truly hard in some of the episodes. The last few were especially funny. The main characters, again, are all these quirky kind of characters, but they're all pretty good. They work for what they do. It's over before you know it. It has no grand scheme of story. It's not something very original, but that's, weaknesses that still don't destroy the show or don't destroy the capabilities of watching it. So anyways, guys, that's it for this review. If you liked, comment, subscribe, helps me out. And until our paths cross again in the next review, have a good one, everyone. Bye.